afternoon. It's great to see everyone here today, and a big hello to everyone joining us at home. We'll give you a little wave. Now that this morning's announcements and hopefully your lunch have settled, I wanted to take a moment to reflect on the incredibly unique news shared by Nitsan and Shaudi. It's really a unique opportunity that you're getting such a powerful tool, ChatGPT, fully funded by eBay within the AI Activate program. If you haven't already, make sure you speak to the team at the AI Activate booth to get set up today. And I would just like to say it's great to be here among other SMEs. I've had my own small business for 23 years, so I might be a little biased when I say that I think that small business owners are among the hardest working people I know. On an average day, you wear numerous hats, deal with aspects of business that are outside your comfort zone, and have a to-do list that never seems to get any shorter. And you never have the luxury of switching off. So SMEs are living through the perfect storm of increasing business costs as well as dealing with compliance, governance and regulations. It's not easy running your own business, and then along comes AI. So you could be forgiven for thinking, oh no, there's something else to add to my to-do list. But in reality, AI could be the best thing to happen to your business. This was exactly my situation about 7 years ago. I'd been reading online about this thing called artificial intelligence, and I thought it sounded interesting, but a bit futuristic. And then about 4 years ago, I started to see an increase in conversations about it, and I was reading an article about how it would evolve. And in that moment, I realized that everything about my business was going to have to change. I've had my own strategy consultancy for 23 years, and I realized that for the companies I was advising, business models were going to change, and how they executed business was also going to have to evolve. This meant the nature of my advice was also going to have to change, and I needed to educate myself on how this would impact my customers. But the more I read about AI, the more confused I seemed to get. I went from feeling really excited about the potential to feeling completely overwhelmed about where to start. So I decided to go back to university and signed up for 2 diplomas to try and make sense of it all. But I'm sitting in class in week 2. The class is full of techies. I'm not from a technical background, I'm from a strategy background, and they're all going on about machine learning and neural networks, and I'm thinking, I'm in the wrong place. I don't understand a word they're saying, and this is going to be completely beyond me. But as the weeks went on, we started to talk more about strategy, and I thought, hang on, I really understand this, and the penny dropped. AI implementation is not a technical project, it's a strategy project. AI is a funny topic in a way. We're drowning in information, but the companies that I speak to on a daily basis are more confused than ever. So why is this? Why is it that there's so much information out there and people are still so confused? So for me, there's a fundamental disconnect between the information that you see online and the information that people actually need in order to be able to execute it at a practical level for their job role or in their business. So there's a reason for this. And I think it's because there are 3 different types of information that dominate, none of which is very helpful. The first source of information is tech-focused, and we've all heard the technology terminology, generative AI, agentic AI, machine learning, neural networks, but the vast majority of people using AI are not from a technical background. So when they hear this type of information, it puts them off getting started and leaves them a bit confused. So the second source of information is coming from the AI tool vendors. I know everyone's heard of things like ChatGPT and some of the large language models, but there are actually over 14,500 AI tools on the market. And everywhere you go online, you're being constantly bombarded by all the different AI tools. So how do you know which ones to choose? Are they safe to use? Can they help your business? But this constant bombardment can quickly lead to you feeling overwhelmed. So the third type of information then is hype. And we've all heard the story here. All companies are going to close, everybody's going to lose their job, and then the office coffee machine takes on a life of its own and it's going to kill us all. So this type of information leaves people feeling really scared. But if you're running an SME, there are very few sources of information explaining what this means from your perspective. How do you get started? Where does AI fit in your business? And where should you implement it first? So how does this all tie together? So I like to explain this using the analogy of a car. I like to keep things simple. So say you want to drive from London to Birmingham. So going to Birmingham is like your business objective. Now the route that you decide to take to get there is like your strategy or your process. The AI tool is like the car. And so the AI tool is like the car. It's a means of enabling you to reach your destination quicker, more efficiently, or more profitably. But the most important part of this scenario is the person driving the car. That's to say you. Because they choose the destination, they choose the strategy or the route that they're going to take to get there, and they make adjustments as circumstances change or challenges arise. So the person driving the car or guiding the AI tool is the most important part of that entire picture. So the problem with a lot of the information on the market at the minute is that you've got all these mechanics running around trying to tell you how the engine in the car works. But what's more important, that you understand how the engine works or that you know how to drive? So the fuel that you put in the car is like your data. It must be clean and of sufficient quality and quantity to power you to get to your destination. If your data isn't clean or of sufficient quality, then the results won't be as accurate. In any AI project, technology is only about 20% of the picture, and strategy, people, and data are around 80%. So in order to be successful with AI, always start with the destination in mind. What is my business objective? What is my strategy for achieving that business objective? And what challenges are stopping me? Only when you're clear on all of these things, only at that point should you look for an AI tool that helps you solve your specific business challenges. The biggest mistake that I see companies make is that they start with the AI tool and try to make it fit their business. If the AI tool doesn't solve a specific business challenge, don't use it. You won't get return on investment, and it can actually end up generating more work. So AI performs 3 key functions in a business. Automating processes. This is called robotic process automation, gaining insights from your data, known as cognitive insights, and improving engagement, known as cognitive engagement. So what do these actually look like in practice? So automating processes can be either hardware or software. So examples of hardware are delivery robots. You see them in the airport bringing your tray to your table. Has anyone got one of those little robot vacuum cleaners? I absolutely love those. I think they're the best invention ever. And we're used to things like factory automation and then drones for delivery or inspection. So robotic process automation can also be software. So this is basically like a software program that automates repetitive tasks or admin. So that's the type of tool that you want to use for all the things that you really hate doing. The low value, time consuming tasks, so that it's going to free up your time to focus on higher value work. So there are all kinds of examples of this. For example, generating reports, pulling information from different sources and compiling it into a single report. So that could be information coming from your sales or your finances or something else, amalgamating them into a report just automatically. Things maybe like compliance reporting. I'm working with a company at present called ISO Comply that has an AI tool for automating the entire ISO process, generating all the necessary documentation in a few minutes. And then things like invoice processing, reconciling purchase order numbers with invoices being submitted in different formats. So it could be automated replies to common questions from your buyers, screening these out, automating replies so that you only have to deal directly with the inquiries you need to. Automating the processing of refunds, for example, if they meet certain criteria, or it could be used for automating price adjustments in response to demand or stock levels. So if, like many small business owners, you've ever thought there aren't enough hours in the day, or I need to clone myself, this is a good place to start, because this type of AI takes away the tasks that are really time-consuming, and we normally hate doing them, but they're necessary for the running of the business. So the second type of AI is gaining insights from your data. AI has the capability of crunching large volumes of data in different formats across different platforms and channels to find patterns and trends that we would never be able to spot. So this is where you can use data to understand what's happening, why, and what to do about it. It allows you to improve your strategy and make better decisions. Although we've already had some of these capabilities to an extent before, the big difference is that AI makes all of this happen in real time so that you can adjust your strategy quickly if something isn't working. So some examples include sentiment analysis, so tracking in real time how a new product is being received in the market. You can find out what people are saying about it. Is it positive? Is it negative? What do customers like? What do they dislike? And so it generally speeds up the entire process of gathering feedback. So it can also be then analytics to show which titles, keywords, or listings are generating the most interest, so you can optimize these accordingly. Things like demand forecasting, which allows you to optimize your stock levels. And then market trend forecasting. This is used a lot in the fashion industry to quickly react to different external factors. So that might be something like the weather, or it might be the fact that Kim Kardashian's just been spotted wearing some item of clothing, and then manufacturers can react to that really quickly. So the third type of AI is improving engagement. So this could be with customers or employees if you have them. Technologies commonly used here are things like virtual and augmented reality, maybe voice assistants, something like Alexa or Siri, and then chatbots. So some examples in e-commerce include product photo enhancement, making products look better, more professional, and with consistent branding, better product descriptions that make them more appealing to customers and maybe optimizing them for SEO. It allows you to personalize at scale, so through things like recommendation engines, using this to build loyalty and trust. And for a small business, it allows you to offer a really excellent level of service to your customers. So in summary, the three types of AI then are for automating processes, gaining insights from your data, and improving engagement with customers. So which one do you start with? Go back to what is your business objective? What would have the biggest impact on your business right now, and start there. So how can an SMB use AI to build competitive advantage? So companies can dominate in several different ways. First of all, through their people. So how well you and your staff are trained and how good you are at using the AI tools is where you can build competitive advantage. If I could offer you one piece of advice right now, it would be to do as many training courses in AI as you possibly can, and also get as much practice with different AI tools as you can start to build your AI literacy and fluency. So learning to use AI is like learning a language. It's incremental, and you're trying to build up to being fluent. So you can also build competitive advantage through your process or strategy. How do you execute your business, and what is your business model? And as AI becomes more widely used, we're already seeing its impact on business models and how these are changing or need to change in order for companies to remain competitive. So as you start to work with AI and incorporate it into your business, be very aware of how it might impact your company and the wider industry in the longer term, and think about how your business model might evolve. Another way of establishing competitive advantage is through your data. So having a vast amount of data is also a competitive advantage, as you have better, more accurate insights into your customers. So think here of large organizations like supermarket chains, for example. They can provide a high level of personalization and purchase anticipation as they own so much data. So with technology, I think there's a short-term window for leveraging competitive advantage, because what happens when everyone has the tools? So you have to look to the other elements to build competitive advantage. So there are 3 ways that you can actually implement AI at a practical level, which are buy, bolt, and build. You can buy off-the-shelf tools that are usually on a monthly subscription. These are easy to use, and the big advantage is that you can be up and running with them almost immediately. Of course, you will now have access to ChatGPT Enterprise tools through the eBay platform. A second way that you can access these is bolt. So looking for bolt-ons to existing software. So say, for example, if you're using something like Canva for design, and now Canva has lots of AI functionality bolted on, or if you're using Xero for accounting, it's got AI functionality built in. So these types of tools are ideal as they integrate seamlessly with the systems you're already using. And then the third way you can implement is build. This is where you build your own bespoke systems, and we're looking at big infrastructure projects which are not really necessary or even beyond the reach of SMBs in terms of investment. They can also be risky as the technology just moves on so quickly, and the technology you built it on might become obsolete. So by now you probably have some ideas about where and how you can use AI in your business to help you execute quicker, better, and more profitably. So here are a few things to be mindful of. So when you're using AI, the tools are there to assist you. They're not there to replace you, and they're certainly not there to replace you having to think. So we see this a lot in social media. Posts that have been written by ChatGPT, they're copied and pasted directly onto social media posts, complete with Americanisms, emojis, I hate that rocket, and cliched expressions. So it's very lazy and it's off-putting for customers. By all means, use AI to help you generate first drafts or to brainstorm ideas, but check everything and write posts or product descriptions in your own words. Don't let AI undermine your brand voice. As you all know, it takes a lot of work to build your brand, to differentiate your company in the market, to build a distinct persona and a brand that your customers know, like, and trust. So if you're using tools like ChatGPT, Gemini, or whatever to help you generate content, be very careful that you don't end up just sounding the same as everyone else. Use these tools to draft content or train the AI in your brand voice, but don't just copy and paste, as the content will work proactively to undermine your brand, leaving customers confused about how you're different from other companies in your space. So be very wary also from a governance and security perspective. If you're using other AI tools outside of the eBay platform, be very mindful of this security aspect. Some of the key things that you should look for: is the tool GDPR compliant? Does it have the relevant ISO accreditations? Is it SOC 2 compliant? Find out where your data is stored, who owns the data. If you stop using the tool, do they retain the data? Is my data secure, at rest, and in transit? So reputable companies will have all of this information as standard. Also beware of free AI tools, because like any other software, if the AI tool is free, you and your data are the product. So using AI brings so many benefits to businesses. For example, as many of you will know, taking the decision to hire more staff is a huge commitment, especially now with the increased costs of hiring. Finding good staff with the skills that you need is also becoming increasingly difficult. If we can use AI to automate the admin part of our roles, we can use our time more effectively. It allows us to do more with our current resources and to scale our businesses without adding to headcount. It also allows us to build customer service excellence, think of new revenue streams or ways of doing business. And my advice would be to start with something really simple, an off-the-shelf tool that can help you overcome a business challenge. These are some of the AI tools I personally use on a day-to-day basis. Hootsuite, I use that for social media, for scheduling, and it also has inbuilt Sentiment analysis, so you can monitor what people are saying about your product online. Gamma app, which is a fantastic app. I absolutely hate doing presentation slides. So I gave Gamma my script, and it did all these slides for me in about 30 seconds, which was amazing. Opus Clip. Opus Clip is a really good AI tool, so you can use it for, if you take a YouTube video, for example, you can upload it into Opus Clip, and then it can chop it into sound bites, so you can make those 30 seconds or a minute or 2 minutes long, and then you can use those maybe for social media campaigns, but it's a really excellent tool. Otter AI, you can use it for transcribing. If you're having Teams calls or Zoom calls, it transcribes the calls automatically. It summarizes the content of the call, pulls out any actions and drafts a follow-up email to the person you've been speaking to, and it does it all automatically. It's absolutely amazing. And then, of course, you've got things like custom GPTs or something like ActiveCampaign, which is a CRM system that's got lots of AI functionality built in. So here are some resources for finding out more. You know, the one piece of advice I would give you is do as many courses on AI as you possibly can. Try out the tools and build your knowledge and digital fluency. So some of the resources that you can use are online courses. You have access, of course, to OpenAI training through the platform. There are other learning platforms out there, LinkedIn Learning, Udemy, and Coursera. And for specialized training, my own company, AI4SMEs.com, run courses and masterclasses. So I hope this has helped clarify for you how to get started with AI. And feel free to connect with me on LinkedIn, where I post useful tips about AI and have news of courses and masterclasses. But I'll be around for the rest of the day, and I would love to chat to you. Please come and say hello, and if you have any questions, just fire away. It would be great to meet you after this. So thanks very much for your attention. Thank you.